everyone. Ryan Fowler here with the Inner Game Group. We are on Inner Masculine Live, the Saturday show, the fellow hypnotists, hypnotherapists, certified pros. And we're going to talk about boundaries and frame control today. They're almost the same thing. We have a bunch of good clips showing the masters doing it in style. And then we have one guy who's trying to hold frame, but it's just an absolute mess. He's like, I think we agreed he's a fake frame holder. But everyone, introduce yourselves first before we dive in. And we'll start with Tim, Jordan, and then Gary.
Hi, I'm Tim with ClearThatTrauma.com. Old-time friend of Ryan, brand new friend with Jordan and Gary. Happy to be part of the group. And I help clear trauma.
All right.
I'm Jordan Kurtz. My website's jordankurtzhypnosis.com. I help you guys clear trauma, limiting beliefs, and we take out the bad stuff and we put in the good stuff that helps you guys succeed in life.
All right, and Gary.
Hey guys, my name is Gary Hones. I am a hypnotist and coach. I help you change your beliefs so you can actually get out of your self-sabotage cycles, your procrastination cycles, anxiety, depression, stuff like that, so you can actually move forward. So check me out. I'll have a website out soon, and I'll have a channel up soon as well.
All right, thank you, Gary. So we take everything from an inner game perspective. You're on the Inner Game Group, Inner Masculine. So we're going to show some clips today. We're going to show Tom Cruise. We're going to show Andrew Tate. I beat up on Andrew Tate a little last week, but the truth is there's a lot of good stuff Andrew says. So, you know, it's all a mix. So we're going to show, because he's a master of controlling frame. So we're going to show Tom Cruise, Andrew Tate, and then we're going to show Mr. Confused Guy. And we're going to take it from not only analyzing what they're doing outwardly, but what is the mindset? What is the belief system internally? And how do you get that in you so that you are masters like these guys holding frame, except for the last one? So, and the first step, because we don't just want to explain this, we want to get this in you guys, where you guys are actually incorporating this, and where you guys are actually, just naturally embodying the same behavior these guys have. Well, that's an inner game thing. And it starts first with awareness of your inner world. So if you want that awareness, the first step, get my free ebook. It's coming out in just a couple of weeks. innermasculine.com/free-ebook. Get on the waiting list now. Free guide, understanding your anxiety, limiting beliefs, procrastination, and self-sabotaging. Also, validation seeking, people pleasing, beta male thirst, all of that. Because if you have that, you cannot hold frame. I remember I knew what frame control was. This was several years ago. I knew what frame control was. I knew women would test men and Ali would test them. I knew all of that. But because of my internal insecurities, I could not hold frame. It's extremely hard to hold frame and enforce boundaries if your inner world is messed up in a way that leads you to not do that. You know, our subconscious mind governs 95% of our behavior. So if you want this awareness of exactly what's going on, how the subconscious mind works, why you're stuck held back, why you're not holding frame, innermasculine.com/free-ebook. Put in your email. You'll get the guide absolutely free when it's available. And so let's go ahead and dive in, guys, on this, for me, rather interesting topic. Now, frame control and enforcing boundaries, it doesn't just apply to dynamics with women. It really applies to all aspects of life. Tom Cruise is going to show us how it's done. So we're going to share this clip of him. Frame control, you're going to see. We're gonna watch it and then comment and discuss. So first up is Mr. Cruise. And we'll just, it's a short clip. We'll play it and then comment.
Was Nicole the love of your life?
What do you mean, Peter?
You were married for 10 years.
Listen, we raised children. How do you answer that? How do you answer that question? She's someone that I plan on getting married again.
You do?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And having kids?
Absolutely.
But Nicole was a major part of your life and the love of your life at the time.
Love Nick very much. No question.
Would you like Nicole to remarry?
Yes. I want Nicole to be happy. That's what I want.
And do you have a relationship where you talk, it's a parenting relationship, and talk professionally about each other's work?
Listen, here's the thing, Peter. You're stepping over a line now. You're stepping over a line. You know you are.
I suppose they're questions that people want to know.
Peter, you want to know. Take responsibility for what you want to know. Don't say what other people. This is a conversation that I'm having with you right now.
You're right.
Okay. So I'm just telling you right now. Okay. Just put your manners back in.
You think I was out of line?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I apologize for that
Good.
sincerely.
Oh. So what? Boom.
And by the way, that's about a 20-year-old interview.
Yeah, he doesn't look that good now. Still looks good though, but
Well, he was talking about Nicole. They got divorced in 2001, and he got married to someone else after that. Or she got married to someone after that. So she wasn't married yet, but yeah, interesting clip.
All right. So here's what I found most interesting: his body language while he was doing this, and his tone of voice, body language. Totally cool, calm, collected. He made the other person take accountability. When he said, be accountable, I'm like, damn. Damn.
Admit it.
What do you guys think?
Who wants to go first?
Sure. I mean, I noticed his eye contact with him was very, he didn't seem, he seemed like he kind of knew where the interview was going, like when he asked that first question.
He kind of fired a warning shot with his body language and said, where's this going? You know, how could I even answer that?
Yeah. And then he kept pushing him in that direction. And so, and it seems like Tom realized that and just kind of shut it down they were very confidently shut it down with being not really emotional about it, just recognizing what was going on and just, no, he knew how to handle the situation well. Like he didn't seem like he was emotional. He didn't seem like he was that upset. He's just confident and calm.
Yeah. He's maybe slightly annoyed.
Yeah.
That's cool. I would be too.
When Tom Cruise looks you in the eye, sits forward, and smiles at you with that little crap-eating grin, you know you're in trouble. Right? I'm not a body language expert, but there's a tremendous amount of authority coming out of Tom. So what is frame? Frame is, you know who you are. You know where the boundaries are around the things that are precious to you, whether or not you want to talk about them. Obviously, he has categorized Nicole Kidman somewhere in his mind to a certain level of whatever, and he's not going to discuss it. That's between them. And he's not going to let anybody else in or even recategorize her. She's the love of your life. He doesn't categorize her that way. She was a love interest for a while. They had children together, mother of his kids. He's not going to denigrate her. He's not going to talk about her. And all these other guys, this Peter guy, whoever he was, they always want to get some juicy tidbit out of him. Right? And
you could tell that was a trap.
Yeah,
what about your other relationships?
His frame was, we're not going there. And he's really good at picking out when he goes, people want to know, as though the bandwagon approach is acceptable to get this information out of Tom. He's like, no, people don't want to know. People can give a crap. You want to know because you're going looking for a juicy line. So Tom did a great example of knowing where the frame was and how not to exceed that boundary and how to push this ding dong back out.
Yeah. So what is the difference between Tom's inner game, what's going on with Tom, and maybe someone who would have lost their cool? Because Tom didn't lose his cool. Maybe someone enforce frame but lose their cool. Maybe someone doesn't enforce frame and just kind of starts stumbling, or maybe even worse, answers the question. You know, what's going on in the inner world between Tom's inner world and someone who just couldn't hold it like that?
Yeah, I would say it would be a lot of the same behavior, but it would just be a lot more exaggerated. right? And so like when you try to get someone to stop, it's like getting them to stop, but then like your body language is in this like survival response where it's like you're trying to get bigger. You sound louder, you sound more angry, you sound more resentful. You want conflict, right? Whereas like he's raising the temperature in that clip without raising the violence, right?
Very controlled.
And so you can tell just by how much something is going to affect. And this is why we tell people, oh, you're so grounded or you're so stoic, because it's like that's the natural reaction of someone who's not settled.
Yeah.
Good point.
And he didn't ask the interviewer to stop. He told them, we're not going to go here. Like that wasn't he didn't frame that like a question, you know, and that, because his internal world is he feels that his frame, that is a boundary. And so he doesn't even need to ask the interviewer to move on. He tells them we're moving on.
Yeah.
There's a difference there.
Yeah. Tom is on offense. That person that Ryan describes that stammers and stutters is on defense because they don't have frame.
And they're not secure in their power to enforce boundaries. So for example, you know, I've seen people where something like with this would happen and they get angry and they lose their cool. And to me, that is a sign. Now, if you're holding frame regardless, good for you. So I'm not putting these people down at all. But someone who keeps their cool is secure in their power and their ability to control the situation. They're not as threatened because they know they can handle it. They have that confidence. Someone who loses their cool will still hold frame, but they're maybe less secure. And so like Gary said, they have to make themselves bigger and more threatening and stronger because they don't feel they're powerful enough as is.
Right.
Yeah. But what about someone who just doesn't hold frame? Someone who stammers, stutters, what's going on in their inner world? Or someone who lets someone walk all over them, tries to please the other person and gets these boundaries violated.
That's a pretty complex question because there could be a lot of things going on in their background. One, obviously they don't have frame. So if you don't have frame, you're all over the map. You don't have a good foundation for understanding your internal intrinsic worth or how you are to react to other people around you. So it's pretty complex overall when you go on the defense and you don't know what the next play is. It just keeps coming at you.
Okay. Anyone else?
Well, they would lack strong boundaries. I mean, if I get emotionally invested in the questions, because for Tom,
what's your internal belief system that leads to not having boundaries or strong boundaries?
Well, the internal belief system large of it comes back to that I'm not good enough kind of area. You feel like you have to defend yourself. You feel like you have to constantly justify, your feelings and your emotions versus just sitting there and go, no, I don't need to, this is not something I'm going to discuss. Versus getting super defensive. You can tell, we've all had interactions with people that we feel like we say something sometimes and it strikes a nerve with someone that they don't know how to handle it. They emotionally react. They react a certain way. And it stems from kind of an insecurity of themselves.
Yeah, insecurity.
100%.
Perfect.
There's some limiting belief. There's some trauma, some sort of subconscious program that you triggered that they haven't learned how to deal with. Because it doesn't mean that these emotional stuff isn't going to happen. He was struggling with his wife, and there were these things going on that he clearly knew. He was aware of the relationship with Nicole and how he wanted to emotionally handle that, but he was strong enough in his frame to not let people push into that part of himself. Right. And he's like, so I think if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And there are people out there who don't think what they want is important, who don't think they're important. It's extremely hard to, or have these other insecurities, extremely hard to hold frame if that's down in your core.
Yeah.
But Tom didn't even flinch.
So you talk about that. When you don't know who you are and don't know your worth and don't feel like you belong, all the subconscious traumas that we talk about all the time. When you get pushed into a corner, it's going to be fight or flight, or sometimes even freeze, because now you're afraid to flee or fight because of how it looks. So, I mean, there's many people that just got up and walked out of an interview because they said, well, you obviously don't know what you're talking about. So when you figure that out, we'll get back together and have an actual interview, because they knew their worth. But other people, if you get on the defense, you don't know whether you're coming or going or what to react to.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Okay. We'll move on to the next clip unless you guys have anything else. All right. Moving on. So I'll preface this one. We're going to play 2 Andrew Tate clips. They're both very short clips, so they kind of complement one another. I'll play them both back to back. I think that's the best way to do it. But for men, probably the greatest challenge to holding frame is with attractive women who we want a relationship of some sort with. Tate's going to show how, and that's for a variety of reasons. Number one, women don't have tools that men have as far as physical strength, and they're not logical, they're emotional, and so they use their soft power. That's what women have. Women's best is soft power. Does not mean weak power. It means persuasion, manipulation, using their attractiveness to get favors or get you to compromise your frame or whatever. And they also have, women are designed, from an evolutionary perspective, men want to present themselves to get the best woman, and women want the best man. And women have evolved to understand that a lot of men are making themselves better than they actually are. So women have this this psychological drive to say, okay, what's this guy really made of? Is he really the high level guy he's presenting himself at? And this is why women will test men. See, are they really strong? And so holding frame with women is a special challenge. Well, Andrew Tate's a master of it. And the way he does it is, again, no need for violence or getting upset, anything like that. He knows how to hold frame, in a really masterful way. So I'll just play these 2 back to back because they're both pretty short, and then we'll take it from there. Let's see. Yeah, these are shorts. Here we go.
Rewire her brain. So I've never had that exact scenario, but if I have a scenario like that where we're trying to do something I'm not comfortable with, let's say I get a brand new girl, she's a male friend, that kind of thing. I'll sit there, and my threat as such is certainly not an ultimatum, because Rollo's right. My threat as such is to take her less seriously. So I'll just say, look, the kind of girl I'd take seriously wouldn't do that. I'm not here to tell you what to do. Do what you want. But the kind of girl I'd be serious about doesn't act that way. And if she sits and goes, well, I still want to go. I've told her I will not take you seriously if you do it, and she still wants to do it. Well, that tells me all I need to know about my relationship with that girl.
Queen sacrifice.
That you have to
Okay, let me go to the other one because they complement each other, and they're both short. All right, hold on.
And hello, Brent. We're missing you. And hey, Mike, good to see you again.
Yeah, Brent's in New Jersey with family. He wasn't able to come on the show. And here we go.
Are you sure it's April 1st?
Hey, yeah. Well, it's not here, so.
What's funny? I said, I just slept with Karishma, and this must be her standard tactic with Indian guys because they're so beta. That she sleeps with them. The next day she dumps them, and then puts her. It's actually quite clever. It puts her in a position of power from the get-go, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like from the get, it's actually quite a smart move. That's why I laughed, because I know the game. I could see the game. I was like, this is actually beautiful. So I'm supposed to reply, oh, what do you mean? And then when she originally forgives me and I convince her I'm a good guy, the whole relationship, the power dynamics fuck. So when she texts me that the next day, of course I just didn't reply. And then when she texts me again later, I knew I was right, didn't reply. And then when she texts me the next day, you know what? Well, while you're here, maybe we should talk about it. I'm just judging you on your Instagram. I didn't reply. And I'm going to have to try and find the message and put them on story. But the next 3 days, I was running around Mumbai with Tristan, putting on my Instagram story, just, having fun without her. And Tristan goes, what's funny? I said,
Okay, so women are, here's the thing. Here's what I believe. You guys tell me. I don't think Tate's being controlling at all here. I think he's just establishing frame. True or false? We're really allowed to have any boundaries or standards we want for ourselves. As long as it doesn't impose on others standards, or impose on their frame, we can have any boundary standards we want. There's consequences, but we can have those. What do you guys think? Or anything about these two Tate clips?
Yeah, I think all he's doing is, like, if you're a relatively healthy person, you can spot that kind of stuff fairly easily, And I think
a lot of guys struggle,
Right.
but I think it's because they do have inner game issues. They don't
Right.
spot. Yeah.
Right. It's harder to spot that. It's harder to react to that in like a healthier way. Like, and he's playing the game a little bit, but like the big thing is like he's not giving in right off the bat, which is what a lot of guys were doing beforehand. So,
And why do guys give in?
they don't think they're worth what they're actually worth. They don't determine their own self-worth at the end of the day. They let other people determine it for them.
That's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
So
Because then you let this girl get away with stuff because you need her validation. You're afraid to lose her.
So obviously, this person that he slept with is a full-blown narcissist, and the way she controls men or makes them come back and beg for more, if Andrew is correct, is she sleeps with them and then she dumps them. It's the Black Widow effect. It's like, I used you, I threw you out, and now you're not worth anything, and I'm letting you know you're not worth anything. And the person who doesn't have any frame comes back with, gee, what did I do? What's wrong?
Yeah, what did I do wrong?
Tries
Did I
to
do
get
something
back
wrong?
in favor. They try to get back in favor. That 100% provides that narcissistic supply right back to that Black Widow. I mean,
And now she's in control.
It's a perfect game. And there's plenty of simps out there that will join right in because they have no idea what's going on because, like Gary said, they don't have frame. They don't know where the boundaries are. And the biggest mistake when you're like that is to have slept with that woman or any woman because that's that soft power they have over you.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, Jordan, anything?
Well, it's just, Tate has so much, Tate's got a lot of frame here. It's obvious in just the way he speaks. He doesn't say it like a question. He knows that this is the expectation, and he knows how to communicate that in a very confident way. If you do this, I'm going to do this. This is my expectation for the relationship. This is what I expect if you're dating me. Or if this is what you can expect from dating me, if you do this, I don't take these kind of people seriously. I don't take these kind of girls seriously. So if you act a certain way, he says it. He says it very well. I think people because if you've watched a bunch of the Red Pill content before, this is a pretty common, I think, theme. But people who don't like this idea, they put Tate as being the one that's insecure. But I think that's kind of a projection of on themselves, and so it's very. To me, it's very clear. The argument's very clear. In any relationship you have with anybody, you have to set boundaries and expectations. And you're allowed to set whatever expectations you have for any relationship that you have. And it's not a matter of being double standards. It's just you're allowed, because you have your own frame, to set the expectations for people around you. It doesn't matter if it's with women. It doesn't matter if it's with bosses. Like, you have to teach people how to treat you.
Yep.
And so, that's part of frame, is teaching people how to treat you. And that's what Tate does,
Yeah. What I thought was very interesting here is when Tate said, you can do whatever you want, but if you do that, I'm not taking you seriously.
Right.
Is that controlling? Is there any manipulation by holding frame, enforcing boundaries when you do it like that?
I would say it's the opposite of manipulation.
No,
because
it's like
you're
you can do
literally
whatever you want, but I got my standards and I can choose
When
whether
you
to have you in my life or not based
Yeah.
on what you do.
And
I'm
when
allowed
you-
to have criteria as to who's in my life and who isn't and how I view you.
Now,
I think.
go ahead, Jordan.
Well, I think when you manipulate someone, you're obfuscating the thing you're actually you want in some way. You're almost like you're lying, deceiving in some way. Tate is doing the opposite of that. He's literally saying exactly what its frame is. I don't see how that's manipulation. It's like you do this, I'm going to do this. Where's the lying or obfuscating or part there? He literally said the thing that he believes.
If his impact was, or his standard is, I don't like women who wear black dresses on Friday, and you continue to wear black dresses on Friday, you're not my kind of woman, says Mr. Tate, right? There's a standard, silly standard for an example, of course, but if that person continues to wear the black dress on Friday, then she is not fitting his world. She can move on and he'll just ignore her. It's not, don't change for me. If you want to wear a black dress on Friday and that's important to you, you keep doing it, but we're not getting together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to what Tate's doing and with women in general, how does abundance mindset or scarcity mindset play into holding frame? Does it help? Does it hurt? Does abundance mindset help hurt? Scarcity help hurt? If so, why?
I think holding frame actually leads to more abundance because it's more. I mean, I think they feed into each other, but the more
does having an abundance mindset though, help you maintain frame, and if so, why?
I think they feed into each other in a certain extent because the more, if you know you've got other girls that are or just other options in general, you're not going to be by nature you won't be too concerned with a specific option. And internally, if you know you have enough frame that
no matter what,
that I think Tate's almost confident enough that he could be, even if all the girls rejected him, he'd still be okay.
Yeah.
Like I think and that in turn makes him not needy, which in turn makes more girls interested in him.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a guy in a social situation who has a scarcity mindset, has a lack of individual worth, knowledge, and practice, and he's in this social situation, really wants to meet that girl, knowing that his choice among all the women is pretty scarce. In other words, he has such a hard time meeting these ladies that if one were to come up and talk to him, he would latch onto that one because he would think there are no more, right? It's a delusion. So no matter what that woman does, including a narcissist that feeds into him because that woman can feel him out and understand what he's about and now finds someone that they can control, he will think there's no else and will settle for whatever standard comes his way because he doesn't have any standard. So the scarcity mindset has a lot to do with there's no other one that's going to pay attention to me. There's no other women out there that I'm going to be able to hook up with, right? Where the abundance mentality is, look,
I can let this go and I can find someone who does meet my standards.
Right. There's 40 more behind you. So when you have frame and you have an abundance mindset, that one that walks up to you, if that person doesn't meet your standards, you're on to the next one because you know there's more.
Yeah. That's where people will basically do anything.
Yeah.
Right. And so that includes like giving in and, letting the person take control of how much you're worth and how much, they think of you as like now true for the rest of society. Like you can't let people do that. And so fundamentally, again, you're coming back to this idea where it's like, you get to control how you feel about yourself. Other people can react to that in any sort of way possible. Some are going to be repelled by that. Some are going to be attracted by that. And that's actually going to be like the way to being happy because you're actually authentically yourself, unapologetically yourself. And so you're actually going to be with people that you actually like. This is one of like a lot of my people's problems, you know.
I'm going to make a point that I think Gary would be more well aware of than just about any of us, and that's the scarcity mindset used in marketing. Only 100 seats available, 10 weeks away. And I'll use a case in point. I love to do voiceovers, and I've done some in the past, and I haven't done any recently, but I'm still on the email list, and I get this one email, 4 weeks away, only 100 seats. And it keeps coming and keeps coming. And the last 3 or 4 days, it's like, get it now. It's almost here. All this kind of stuff.
Time constraint with scarcity.
I guess 100 seats were pretty hard to fill. That's what my mind says. But 10 weeks ago, people with a scarcity mindset would go, oh, crap, I better get something. Let me sign up and get into that ball right now. Now, if you notice, with the Inner Game Healing Summit that's coming up, never once does MLD ever say there's only 100 seats available. No. Here's all the reasons you want to get involved with this. Here's what it costs. Here's how you sign up. Don't really care if you do or you don't, but you're going to benefit if you do.
He does give you a time constraint, though. You got to do it by this date.
Well, there is a time. I mean, because time is everything, but that's not only 100 seats available.
Yeah.
And
all right. Yeah. So, and back to abundance, scarcity mindset. I can't remember who the source of this quote, but maybe it's the guy who wrote the 48 Laws of Power. I'm not sure. It's the person who has the most power in a relationship is the person who needs the other the least.
Yep.
And scarcity mindset, you really need that person. So you're going to give up frame, give up boundaries. But it's not only, it's scarcity mindset combined with, I'm not good enough just for who I am. So I need a girl to feel good enough. Or I need a girl for validation. This is what codependency is. Codependency is I don't know how to give myself value, love, approval. So I need it from other people. If you have scarcity mindset combined with needing that validation from a girl, man, holding frame is basically not going to happen. They're going to walk all over you and then discard you, just like Andrew Tate said. That one girl would sleep with the guy and then dump him. And now he get all apologetic and she comes back in and now she's the powerful one directing the relationship and manipulating him. And you don't want to be in that situation, man, because I guarantee you that girl is just using and abusing these guys and milking them for money or just whatever else, and man, if you don't hold frame, you get in these relationships where you're being abused, where you're being used, where you're being disrespected, and you are less attractive to women because women want strong men who hold frame. Women are biologically designed, have evolved to want strong men who can provide more resources and provide protection and who are leaders, not followers. Yeah. So
this is a perfect segue, Ryan, into my thoughts when I first saw those clips. When we want to hold frame, a lot of times we're talking about relationships with other people. And that is true because that's the only place to hold frame. But in other relationships, other than a romantic relationship, there are business relationships involved. And in order to hold frame,
you can get taken advantage of there too.
Pretend you're employed, like we all are, and you've got a job and your customer is your boss essentially. And you are, you get paid and 14 minutes after being paid, you got $12 left. That's a scarcity in your bank account, right? That mindset where you're going to take all of the abuse that comes your way from your boss because you got no choice but to pay your bills and keep employed. Where if you have $100,000 in the bank and you've got a bunch of good frame and you know whether you're coming or going, and the employment world is, looking for people, you're sort of going to go, you know what? I'm not going to take that abuse. I'm done. You have a good day. I works by the hour and I quits by the hour, and you're out the door.
Yeah.
That is holding frame, but you have to build up that confidence in money storage and, education and experience and stuff like that as you go through your life. And that way you're not beholden to somebody else.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to relationships, the truth is you may believe this if your inner world isn't right, but the truth is you never just have $12 in your bank account, because when it comes to relationships with others, and more importantly, your relationship with yourself, you can actually give yourself all the validation and love you need, and have all the money you want in your, enough money in the bank account so you don't need that other person.
That is
a really big inner game secret that will give you just this natural confidence and help you to hold frame.
Yep.
Sorry, you gonna say something, Tim?
No, you're right on the money. And the analogy is that bank account of 100 grand is your outer game. Your inner game is that tremendous validation and self-worth that you got a bank account that you can draw on forever.
Yeah, when it comes to self-approval, self-love, self-validation, you can give yourself all you want and need, 100%. Yes. We do have another clip. This one's a little longer, and this is kind of a more complicated issue regarding holding frame. I'll just play it, and we'll see, is this guy holding frame? Is he not? What's going on here? Jordan showed this to me, and at first I didn't get it, and then after I kind of looked at it and Tim talked to me, it's like, oh yeah, okay, this is good. Let's share this. So let's share this. Let's see here. So this is a fresh and fit excerpt. This guy explains his holding frame, and it's kind of weird. We'll go.
I guess we haven't gotten to the core issue, right? We should get to the core issue. The thing that people are getting mad at me about is I give them the option to sleep with other men.
Oh God! Oh God! Stop
it! Bring it on, chat. And I'll tell you why.
Now, I just want to point out before we go on, he doesn't say that's because I want. He gives another reason. Here we go.
Can I tell you why?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I don't like being a hypocrite. I don't like being a hypocrite. And I think that you can spin it any way you want, Myron and Fresh, with the double standards, blah, blah, blah. Let me compare this to dancing for a second. Fresh, if you walk into a dance studio and you're a man, right? And you say you want to be a follower, the dance studio will say you're a leader because you're a man. Like, I want to be clear, Myron, a dance studio is super conservative, like right-wing, suit, dresses. If you go to a dance, guys, remember the dance competition, everything, like the women were wearing dresses and the men were wearing suits. There ain't no 70 genders and all that shit, right?
Yeah. Really?
So, yeah.
Okay, I would think in the arts they're a little bit.
Nah, dance studios are different, bro. Like a professional dance ballroom studio.
Oh, okay,
they're
okay.
very conservative.
Okay, like a ballroom. Okay.
The man leads, and
the man leads, and the reason why is it wouldn't work any other way.
Yeah.
Just like you guys talk about.
Yeah.
So if a man goes there and says, I want to be a follower, and they would say, sorry, you can leave the studio if you want to be a follower. Woman goes there, I'm strong and independent because Neo told me I was, right? And they go in there and they say, okay, you can leave the studio. If you're a woman, you follow. If you're a man, you lead. That's how it works. Sorry, liberals. Anyway, and now I'm going to trigger the conservatives now with the next thing I'm going to say is, if you're the leader, then it's okay for it not to be fair for the leader. You're supposed to lead. The general doesn't complain that it's fair that he's on the front lines. And similarly, as the leader in this relationship, I'm not going to complain it's unfair that I pay for everything and also they can't sleep with anyone because of that. I'll be honest, I think that's beta. I think that's low value. I think it's high value to say, listen, I love you both and trust you both as my partners, just as I would on a dance floor. As a leader, you might be leading, but you don't force them to follow you. The followers choose to follow you. And I think part of the reason they follow me is I'm not a hypocrite. That's how I feel. Okay. Actually, can they weigh in on that?
Sure. Yeah, please.
Who wants to go first? Angela wants to go first.
Yeah, what's going on here? What do you guys think?
This guy. Oh.
He's a mess.
Oh, it's hard for me to watch this guy talk. It's just, well, the first thing I noticed is his body language. I notice how it looks like he's mate guarding both of these girls because he's got his arms on both. It just looks, it would look stronger, I think, in the frame if they were the ones kind of coming on to him. But he's like, he's got his arm, I assume on each of their legs, sitting next to him. He looks, and he does that.
You see that conflict with that, though? He says they can do whatever they want, and yet he has his hands.
I gotta hold him. I gotta hold it. Like it's so that it's incongruent. It's so incongruent.
His body language is doing the opposite of what he says.
Yeah.
He starts off with his first sentence confused, and he just goes downhill from there. He says he gives them the option to sleep around. They don't need his option. They don't need his permission. They're human beings. Now, they may not realize their own self-worth. And then obviously he's pretty insecure because he's busy seeking validation from everything else around him, telling you what he thinks and how he feels. Yes, you don't want to go first or at all. Yeah. They don't know what to say. This is a room full of simps, except for
it's just the little things. Like he turns, like, do you remember the thing? Is like the ballroom dance, and then he turns. He just even though there's so much validation-seeking behavior there. This is why I think it's hard to watch, because he turns to them, and it's not even that big of a thing, but it's the way he's acting. He turns to them is like, do you remember the ballroom dancer thing? And he's looking to them for validation for his point.
That's
he
right.
wants to come in, and it's subtle, but it's there. It's like when Tim and Ryan are talking about, oh, remember this. Tim, he's just like, you're doing the same thing. Like you're asking, hey, do you remember like this time when we first met, or when I met you again? But you're not doing it in a way that's like, do you kind of remember, like. It's just. Do
you like me and agree with me?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh, man.
Yeah, there's a real, guys, it's a real simple pattern, right?
Yep.
It's a real simple pattern. It's like, are you trying to get value from other people, or is it all coming from you? And just by knowing that one thing, you can notice all the behavior now. You can't unsee it,
Why do you think this guy's taking the I don't want to be a hypocrite route? Oh, sorry, Gary, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
Why do you think he's taking the I don't want to be a hypocrite route?
Because he thinks he is a hypocrite. And now he's trying to defend why he's not.
Yeah.
Now, I was shown this clip. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I think probably you don't say something like that unless that's already in your head at some level.
That's right.
Yeah.
Who brought it up?
It's such a weird thing to bring up.
Yeah, it's like, what's this have to do with anything?
I was like, well, I don't want to be a hypocrite.
So now he's worried about what other people think.
Right. I mean, he's literally saying, I don't want to be a hypocrite.
Yep.
Because he said you were.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, because he's scared people are going to accuse him of that, at some level.
And part of me wonders if it's like a little bit of clout chasing, just like I want to create some kind of controversy around me to get views. See, when I'm watching this guy, I'm not sure if I believe everything he says, because it's really difficult, because part of me thinks he's a YouTuber. He's trying to get people like if he comes out, because he knows the red pill space was going to come out and criticize him for that. So part of me wonders, does he really is he being over the top with it intentionally to get the views? Because I know he's not probably the only guy who's ever done this before, but it seems like he wants validation for what he's doing, and he also wants attention, and he also wants clout, and he also wants to stir up controversy. It's like so wrapped into one mess that it's very interesting.
And you know what, Jordan, I didn't know he was a YouTuber. I never heard of that guy until you sent that video out. Yeah. And with that in mind, he may be trying to do that. But one of the points I made to Ryan earlier was that this is a guy who thinks he understands what true frame is and how you look like when you hold it. And now he is putting on this facade because he doesn't have frame, but he wants you to think he does have frame. So this is what he has to do to make you think he's got frame. It makes my head hurt.
Yeah.
The clip gets worse if you want to keep playing it, Ryan. But
yeah, and he just says some stuff that's flat out wrong. Oh, general doesn't complain he has to be on the front line. Most generals are not on the front line.
No, they're not.
The Russian generals are because their communications is so poor, but generals generally are. And he's just saying stuff that doesn't make sense. All right, let's keep going. Let me share this again.
I'm glad it makes your head hurt, Tim, because I was watching this, and I was like, man, this is
because what Gary said. He talks about the realization of this guy seeking validation, tremendously insecure, slumped over, I mean, he's got no good, strong body language at all. So it's this cognitive dissonance. You hear one thing, yet you observe a completely different operation.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go ahead and continue. Good points.
So I just think that, I mean, personally, like, I want the man to be the one to, you know, make the decisions for me and help support me and help make my dreams come true. And I think it's always been in our history, like, the man is the one, he's the breadwinner.
Yeah.
And the woman follows. I do, however, think that, you know, it's amazing if women want to be independent and hard workers. I just think it works better if the man has a little bit more control and, you know, the woman has more assistance, because I don't think
Wait a second. She's talking about the man having control, but she wants all whose dreams to come through? Whose dreams? His or hers?
Why is he holding on to the mic?
He's got to hold on to something.
Sorry to
it's just it's like
I don't think women should have to, like, you know, work so hard.
Agreed.
You know, I don't think they have to. If they want to, that's amazing.
Agreed.
But
That's what Christopher Hitchens said too. Like, he was being interviewed once and they were like calling him sexist. He's like, I think women don't have to work. They can if they want to. I don't think they should have to.
So you love Christine, right? So let me ask you this. He gave you freedom to be or do whatever you want with somebody else. Will you do it?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't think I'm gonna know until
time comes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do know that.
I don't think I'll know until I'm had 5 beers and that guy across the room was
no
really hot.
clue.
Then I'll
She knows
know.
what she wants.
So this guy's really doing this to placate these women.
And he is just waiting for a chance. He's like nodding along with, like, yeah, say the thing that makes me look good. It makes me look good. Say this. It's like, yeah, that's good. And then he jumps in and he's like, yeah, this is, yeah. It just
He's not being authentic. That's why it's so confusing. He's not being authentic. He's actually trying to people please, put their dreams first, act how he thinks, you know, this whole blue pill paradigm, put the woman first. Okay, I'm going to be a leader, and then, you know, it's just a mess. Yeah. He's not authentic. He's putting up some sort of act because the real him is not acceptable. That's how I see it, and that's why you see all these signs of insecurity, insecure body language, and confusing message.
I'm very in love with him, and I mean,
yeah. Why is she not looking at him?
Look at him. Look at him.
Look at this shit. Total incongruence. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. But I do know that I'm very in love with him.
I guess.
And I mean,
look at the look on his face.
Personally, I
he loves it.
I don't think I could.
Yep. He loves it.
I don't. I'm a very me personally.
She looks away from him when she says she's in love with him. What is up with that?
I'm a very like traditional girl. I want to be loyal.
She's out of her comfort zone here.
Okay.
She's trusting me a lot, which is why I want to give her that trust back.
So look, let me ask you this. What about her?
The thing is, okay, I will be completely honest.
Give 1,000.
When I first like found out about her,
same. I didn't like her first
jealous.
either.
I'm like, who the fuck is this bitch? I want my man to myself. Fuck off. I was very triggered and just I was jealous. Like I will admit that I was
Look how
jealous.
red he is.
However, I'm like, all right, let's be open-minded here. I want to do what makes him happy, and I think. You know, I've always thought about the idea of open relationships. And I think the reason why they fail is because I think most people just, it's not wired. Like we're not, as humans, we're not like wired to, I guess, not have possession over someone.
Right.
You want like to have kind of control over that person that you're with and call them like, oh, well, that's my person, you know, and have control over them.
Yeah.
So I think that I was just trying to be more open-minded, and I'm like, you know what, this can work if all three of us really get to know each other and we have like open communication and trust.
Beautiful.
So I gave her a chance and I got to know her, and now I love her.
They're like best friends now.
Now she's like my best friend.
They got a manicure, pedicure together, hair done.
We had
you
a
know.
spa day.
We had
It
a
was
spa day.
beautiful.
I paid for everything. Fresh. I have
You're
no
right,
money. By the way, you have a box.
So who sleeps on what side of the bed?
That's a good question. I sleep in the middle, and yeah. Wait, but hang on. I do want Christina to answer the question about why she loves me. Go ahead.
Right.
Oh, man.
You pause it.
Why I love you?
Yeah. Is there any reasons?
There's a lot of reasons.
Pick one because Angela was long-winded.
What can you do?
I love you.
I guess the main reason is you're my soulmate.
That's
You
true.
complete me 100%.
I feel the same way.
You help me to be better. You've given me so much.
My bad. Sorry. Sound wrong sound effect.
That's okay.
I was gonna really hit this one.
That's true. It is. I want to be clear. We are very gay.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
What can you do? What was I saying?
You were saying that I complete you. You're my soulmate.
Yeah, and you've just given me so many tools. Because life is just so hard, and if you don't have a partner that can help you in this life and help you accomplish your dreams, then what do you have? And I have that now.
I got 2 partners. I get
Fair enough.
twice.
So my only pushback on that is, so my thing is, you never force a girl like, yo, you have to be monogamous to only me. My only thing is, I always say,
yes, they do, bro.
Here's my thing. I always say, listen, this is what it is. If you want to go ahead and deal with other guys, that's fantastic. But now you lose the privilege of having me as your boyfriend. And, I'm not going to go ahead and, allow you. So, well, I'm not going to, let me say this.
As you can say,
I'm not going to, my thing is, I'm in control of my life. I'm not going to have you go ahead and do this type of stuff and put me in a weird situation. Because for me, I look at it like my name has value to it. So if you go ahead and do this stuff, you're not only doing something, putting yourself in a certain situation, you're embarrassing me. So that's why I don't tolerate women going ahead and exercising options like me, because we're not the same.
Can I respond to that?
That's a choice. Go ahead.
I think that's kind of, again, playing not to lose as opposed to playing to win. I'm playing to win, so I want her name to grow. That's why I'm helping her with her Instagram, and I'm helping her with singing, and I fund their self-development, for example. So instead of them being do-nothing bitches, Angela is building her fitness account. That's her Instagram manager right over there.
For the money.
Corey is training Christina in fitness. I hired Corinne to train Angela. I'm like investing in them so they can be complete people, so their name has value as well, and then we all have value together. And sort of similar to Tristan and Andrew pooling their money and resources together, I might be funding this relationship, but they're the reason I'm here too. I think Myron's a lot less intrigued about me being here if they don't come. So I really don't view myself as above them. I'm the leader, but they're my partners.
Well, my thing is,
all right, we'll see what Myron says.
Sure. Yeah. It's well, I get that you're like investing in them, but I'm talking about strictly. I'm only focusing on the part where they can go ahead and have sex with people.
I'll respond to that too.
That's my only. That's where I would draw the line. Like, you cannot entertain any other men.
I'll respond to that too, and then I want to hear Fresh's perspective. Myron, you're honest. These dorks in the chat are not. I swear to God, I see all these things on Instagram. Men and women are different. The bitches. I'm telling you, they're not. They're not saying it the way you're saying it, because you're actually high value. And there's a lot of dorks out there that are trying to live your life and they can't. And what I'm saying is, if you hit the link at the top of the bio, I teach you how to be productive. You can have the option that Myron and I have. Now, we may go about it a little differently, but we're both high value enough where I'm sure if I tried to strong arm them, maybe I just would rather not.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, my biggest
so we don't
thing
even
is,
disagree. We
didn't answer the question.
Yeah.
He just lived. He just revealed himself. He's the dork trying to live the life.
Yeah.
Well, and another thing is, do you really think he wants these girls sleeping with other guys?
No.
So he's compromising part of what he really wants in the name of what?
Well, keeping them around, or what he thinks is going to keep them around.
Scarcity, man. Scarcity.
And he's rationalized it by saying he's not a hypocritical person.
Yeah, exactly. He's taking kind of some sort of moral high road, which is really weird because, I don't know, it's a mess.
Like, notice the stress that's coming when those girls were answering the questions. Notice his huge exhale. And he leans back. Do you see how red his face was and the amount of stress? I mean, he was like, please answer these questions in a way which makes me look good. I mean, this is not someone who holds frame. Look at the body language. You can't, I mean, man.
He doesn't know what high value means.
It's like, and when she said when this girl on the right said she loves him, looking away from him, and then he had the look on his face. And then he's looking for validation. Hey, blonde girl, why do you love me?
He asks that question. He's like, please
You don't
answer in a
know?
way that makes me look good, please. Man,
yeah.
The lack of frame is just.
Is the rest of this worth watching? I haven't watched the rest of this, Jordan.
It's more of the same.
Yeah, it's more of the same.
More of the same. Okay.
This guy is a train wreck.
His words. He knows how to sound confident, but it's so incongruent with his body language and the way he's acting. It is, and he doesn't answer the question Myron asks.
This might be the question.
He's like, oh, the problem I have a problem with is the fact that you let him sleep with other girls. And then he's like, yeah, I'll answer that question. All these dorks in the chat are saying this. He moves the question completely differently. It's
I'm going to step out on the plank here. This guy is a full-blown narcissist.
You think so?
Yeah. He is very busy putting on the air that he thinks you want to see. Just to Jordan's point, he's acting like he's got game, but he doesn't really know what game is. He doesn't really know what high value is because nothing he is doing is indicative. Now, he's probably the most insecure narcissist I've ever observed, but I think he's there.
I do think he has the way these girls perceive it. I think he does have high value in their eyes, or otherwise they wouldn't be with him.
Right.
But he's not holding frame, and it is. I'm wondering what these girls' angles are, because I don't see these girls with their body language actually having desire for him. She said, "I love him," and she looked away. And this guy is like, "Hey, why do you love me?" For the blonde girl. And she kind of stammered a little.
Yeah.
I don't see them like really loving him. I think maybe
many reasons.
This guy talks about, I'm going to promote her brand and lift her up. I'm going to promote her brand and lift her up. And I think he's high value because he already has a brand. But this is why I think they're with him. Not because they have genuine desire for him, but because this girl talked about, she wants her dreams realized. They see him as a means to an end to promote their own careers and dreams and clout. I don't think they have much, if any, genuine desire for him. You just looking at their body language and how they respond. That's how I see it. And I think part of why they don't have genuine desire is because he's all confusion and insecurity and validation seeking, and he's not holding frame. And listen, you cannot be a validation seeking person and hold frame. They're like two different things.
So this guy has 736 subscribers on YouTube.
This guy here?
Yeah.
Well, there's something about him that's high value. I don't know.
Michael Trilstein, 736 subscribers, 63 videos. He's Jewish comedian, copywriter, and ballroom dancer.
Yeah, there's something about him that attracts these girls to him. I don't think it's genuine desire.
Well, I think it's their lack of self-esteem.
Could be. Yeah, but I don't think these girls really love him. Their body language doesn't seem to indicate that. And I do think he is insecure, just holding her mic where his hands are at. Confused message. When Myron talks, it's very clear. Myron's like, listen, I don't like that. If you want to sleep with other guys, great, but you can't be with me. That's not my standards. And then this guy is just all over the place. So any other comments?
And then he agrees with Myron and then moves on. He wants so much validation, because he's even talking with Myron, when Myron says that, Trilstein agrees with Myron, yeah, no, that's definitely right. And then he goes on and says what he goes on and then explains how he doesn't agree with them. The validation seeking behavior from him, it's anti-frame. It's a very good case study for guys. If you have any of these kind of behaviors around girls,
it says these girls left him.
So this guy's Instagram, 4,427 followers. He's busy building up his brand, whatever it is, but it's not there yet.
Okay.
Yeah. The girls.
There's something that got him on the show.
Yep.
There's some sort of value he has, perceptually at least. They got him on the show and got these girls with him. But if Rodoku's right, they later left him. I didn't know John MLD did a breakdown of this. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
But I think my instincts were right. They are looking to him for career progress, and looks like they left him. Because I don't see genuine desire there with these girls. I don't. Yeah. And he's not holding frame, so why would they have genuine desire? He's giving signals that he's doesn't have the inner strength that women look for. So it is what it is. So there you go, Andrew Tate, Tom Cruise. Women have genuine desire for them. They're also, they got a lot of other stuff to offer, not just frame. But why is holding frame important? Why are boundaries important? What happens if you don't have it?
Well, you become this guy if you don't have it.
You get taken advantage of.
Yep.
Yeah.
People walk all over you. People don't respect you.
Yeah, when you don't have boundaries and you don't set them and you don't know why you have them and you don't have conviction in them, what you put out into the world is someone who's actually not you. And when you do that for a long enough time, with enough people, you're literally going to start losing yourself.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when you start to lose yourself, now you can't, it's this like perpetual cycle where it's like, you can't stand up for anything because you don't know who you are because you never did stand up for anything. Right. And so it's a really, really dark place to be, in my opinion. And so if you haven't set boundaries before, maybe that's something you should try.
Yeah, holding frame is enforcing your own authenticity. It's putting out, this is who I am authentically. This is who I really am. This is what I really like and what I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm letting you know right now what's acceptable and not acceptable to me. And if you have a healthy inner world, your frame's not going to be a frame where you want to like dominate and, manipulate and control. That's people who do that are trying to cover for own internal insecurities.
Yep.
You don't need that because you're like, listen, the authentic real me is freaking awesome. The authentic real me has value. Because I matter, what I want matters. I don't need to hide that. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to let you know what it is. And I'm an abundance mindset. And if you're not a fit for that, that's okay. I'm not mad at you that what you want is different from what I want, that we're not a match, but simply we are not a match. That's okay. Have a nice day. We'll stay friends, whatever. Yeah. We can have a relationship where there's, we still can respect each other's boundaries, but if there's any relationship where your boundaries are incompatible with mine, totally cool. See you later. It's all good. No anger, no bad feelings. But when you enforce what you want authentically and realize you have value and what you want has value, you will get what you want.
That's it.
All my friends now are amazing human beings. I have the best friends because the ones that weren't, I let them know and it didn't work out. All right, I'm sorry. This friendship's not a net benefit. I'm sorry, And all my friends are amazing now because I held frame and boundaries and that's fine. Other people can choose to do whatever they want. I'm not controlling them, And now I have amazing friends. I have amazing relationships. I'm dating some amazing girls right now because I don't tolerate the ones that take advantage of me. I just got rid of a girl who was disrespecting me. Doesn't matter. It's all good. So what you're left with is what you really want and what a great life that is when you hold frame, when you enforce boundaries. And you can still benefit others, the people that you're with. Doesn't mean, part of my frame is I do want to benefit others. That's why I'm here doing this show. That's why I had a job that paid tons of money. I quit it so I can do this and have the most fulfilling life, changing the world, taking stuff that I found massively helpful, using it to help others. That's part of my authentic frame. It's all good. It doesn't mean holding frame is you're bad or selfish or a hypocrite. It means you're being authentic about who you really are and communicating that to others. Any comments from you guys?
On the money. But let me say this as a parting shot. If you don't know where you're going, you will get there quickly.
And you end up like this guy, and then these girls dump him, and that's too bad. But he'll learn his lesson hopefully someday. Maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah, I think being more certain of who you are and what you represent and how you want to represent that is a massive asset. And it's a big part of, you know, creating boundaries by expressing what you actually want. You know, hard to do that when you don't really know who you are.
Less confusing, isn't it?
Yeah, man. Authenticity is the opposite of codependence too, just so you know, because this is who I really am. I am good enough just as I am. I have value just as I am. Rodoko says, please clip that epic speech. I got a guy doing shorts for me, so I'll tell him to do that. Thank you for the compliment. I assume that was me he was talking about. I don't know.
Yes,
sounds like it. So that's our show for today. Any final comments? Our expert panel here of trained, certified life coaches, hypnotherapists, etc. Any final comments? Frame boundaries, any of these clips we've gone over today?
Good to go.
Yeah, I would say boundaries change your life. Straight up. If you guys don't do anything, but all you did was just change a few of your boundaries with the few toxic people that you have that are causing you all this like mental stress, like it will change your life. So
yep, 100%. I agree 100%. Okay, anyone else before we sign off? All right, that is our show for today. Thank you everyone for watching. And thank you, Gary, Jordan, Tim. You guys are all my good friends. Some of the amazing friends I was referring to earlier. Just remember, guys, control your frame, enforce your boundaries, because you have more power than you know.